Welcome to the Bread and Bible podcast. I'm Hailey.
I'm Spencer.
What are we talking about today?
In today's podcast, I thought I would just ask you a few questions. So starting out with...
I'm being interviewed.
Yes, you are being interviewed. Are you qualified for the position that you have attained?
Probably not. This is like our first date. Our first date was like an interview, actually.
It kind of was.
You came and you were like, okay, how many kids do you want to have?
Yeah.
After we were stuck on a chairlift.
Yeah.
So I couldn't escape.
It was right after we had sat down on the chair and we were going
all
up.
right.
It's like, okay.
Down to business.
Got to find out whether you're serious or not.
Yep.
Here we are.
Anyways.
But along that topic,
oh,
now that you are my wife, you have certain responsibilities and roles and things that you're doing.
Yep.
And I thought I would just ask you about fresh milled flour.
Oh. Well, we do. The part of the name is bread, so it is legal to talk about bread.
We can talk about bread, and just like more so. I guess, why did you start making fresh milled flour? Because you started doing that before we were married.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you start making bread with fresh milled flour?
Mm-hmm.
And then why did you keep doing it when we got married?
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess, why did you start doing it again when we got married?
Yeah. Interesting.
After we'd been married.
Well, the reason I started doing it was... This is a while ago now. It feels like it's like 3 years. But the reason was because I was like allergic to everything. I'll say that again without the like. I was allergic to everything. And, so, or at least I thought it was. And so I was looking for the culprit. I was like, what is doing this to me? Because everything would hurt. And it would seem to be getting worse too. So it was like, first it was just dairy. And then gluten. And then sugar. Sugar has always hurt my stomach though. I think sugar is just bad for you. So that's probably why it hurts you. Your body doesn't want it. And then there was a short period there where like I couldn't have eggs. And it's just everything was hurting my stomach. And so I was like, something's up. So I did so much research into like gut health and everything. And this is also kind of what led me down the path of becoming a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, which I did nothing with. But now I know lots of things.
Well, you started an LLC.
I did, and I had one client.
Yeah.
And then I closed the LLC. But anyways, I actually did learn a ton from that. And that was kind of my decision at the time. I was like, you know what? This is either going to be a future career or this is going to be a nice learning experience. And either way, it'll be worth it to me. So anyways, so I did a lot of research into gut health and what kind of drives allergies and intolerances and the difference between intolerances and allergies and celiac disease and why people think they have it when they don't. Some people actually do, and all that stuff. Because I was trying to figure out what it was that was hurting me. And, so turns out I just needed to take probiotics. And my gut was actually, I wouldn't say it was fine. It needed more bacteria, like good ones. But I wasn't actually allergic to any of these things that I thought I was allergic to. And so one of those things was gluten. And in my research on gluten and why people are allergic to it, why people are intolerant to it, I felt like it was a really recent thing, like with all the allergies. And I just felt that way, and I'm not that old, so I was like, I'm probably just uneducated. Turns out it is actually a very new thing. Like 50 years ago, people didn't really have allergies, and if they did, it was like peanuts or something.
Even that was rare.
And that was rare. Yeah, there's like one kid in the school who has a peanut allergy. But now it's like everybody's allergic to everything. And so I was like, something's up here. This is funny. And I won't go into all of the ways because each allergy group has a reason that those allergies are more common now. So like with dairy, it's because they pasteurized everything and started adding stuff to it.
Well, the main culprit there, which I think is the same for wheat, is that they take all the nutrients out of it and then insert different the same
Fake
nutrients from a different source.
Yeah, so that's part of it, but the biggest part of it and the part that applies to your gut, specifically with the dairy intolerance and dairy allergy, is actually the enzymes. Because raw milk, just cow's milk when it comes out, it's a complete food, it has everything in it in order for you to process it, but those enzymes are very fragile, and so when you superheat it to 195 degrees...
When you pasteurize it.
When you pasteurize it, that's what that is. It is not putting the cows on a pasture. That's what I thought it was when I was younger. I thought pasteurization was they put the cows on pastures.
Yeah, no, it's
so anyways,
superheating milk.
I know, I was like, what? I've been lied to by my assumptions. Anyways, so the enzymes are very fragile, and so when they heat it up, they die, and so then that leaves you with lactose and no lactase enzyme. And so then you become lactose intolerant because your body runs out of the lactase it had. So that's the other fun part, is that newborns are born with lactose, or lactase, the enzyme, because breast milk has like the highest lactose of any mammal milk. And so newborns are good at processing lactose. So if your baby is lactose intolerant, it's like a life or death situation. If they have a cow's milk protein allergy, they probably will grow out of it. But that's a common misconception that's in another category. The point is, for dairy, that's the thing, is it's not a complete food anymore. And so gluten has a similar issue. Wheat has a similar issue. And it stems from, and I don't remember the decade, but back in the 20th century. In the olden days of the 20th century.
In the 20th century. One whole century ago.
Yes, which was also only 26 years ago, 27 technically. No, but I'm pretty sure it was probably the 60s because the 60s threw a lot of stuff everywhere. The 60s were a little bit of a mess in a lot of categories, I should say. And it's because they were trying to keep industry booming. So anyways, one of those things, there was a folic acid deficiency in children, and it was causing health problems. And so they were like, okay, how do we so folic acid, I should clarify, folate, folic acid, it's a B vitamin, and it's very important. I believe it's vitamin B6, but I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure it's vitamin B6. Anyways, it's very important, and it's one of the big ones when you're pregnant. So the distinction that I'm going to make is folate and folic acid, because folate is the natural form, and folic acid is the synthetic thing that they made to replicate it. Which it's a pretty good replica, but it falls short in some pretty important ways because it doesn't get absorbed into your body readily because it's not bioavailable like the actual source. And so it actually just builds up in your body, and it can inhibit your body's ability to absorb real folate. So what that means is that short term it was working, and it actually helped with the deficiencies in children. I say I haven't explained what. They started spraying all of the wheat fields with folic acid. And that's where enriched wheat flour comes from, is that they've just sprayed the fields with these synthetic nutrients that they've created. And it was in an effort to bring up the nutrients in the flour in order to help kids not be deficient. So it totally made sense at the time. The problem was that long term it wasn't actually being absorbed properly, and it was building up, and so then it didn't actually fix the problem. But that's the reason they started doing it. And they have just not stopped. And I don't really know why they haven't stopped. There might be more to it. There might be more behind the scenes of why they still do that. And enriched wheat flour has more added to it now, other than just folic acid. But it's a little bit weird. And it's something that most countries don't do. So it's a very American thing, which is why they say, and it's true, that if you go to a European country and eat their flour and their bread and their pasta, you don't feel bloated. Because it's actually not necessarily the wheat causing that issue. Now, that's part of it, is the enriching of wheat. The other part of it is the processing of it. So this is where fresh milled flour comes to save the day. Because in the commercial process, wheat it comes in a kernel or a berry, which I think it's so weird that they call them berries. Mm-hmm. There is nothing berry-like about a wheat berry. So when I looked that up, I was like, no, I don't want wheat berries. I want, the seed thing. And that's what the berry is, apparently. Anyways, they're also called kernels, and I think that makes more sense. Because like a popcorn kernel, or like corn kernel. Like, why is it not just called a kernel? Why is it called a berry? Anyways. So a wheat berry in its whole form has 3 parts to it, mainly. And it's the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. And the bran is the outside. And so when you think of whole wheat, it has bran in it, That's that, I shouldn't say crusty, but it's like the outside part. It's the hard shell. And that's the reason that wheat berries can keep for 15 years, because of this hard shell. And so it's mainly protein on the outside. And then the germ is all the goodness. It's in the middle, and it has healthy fats, antioxidants, B vitamins, E vitamins. Again, lots of protein. And then the endosperm is what's in the middle, and it's basically like food for the wheat when it grows, like an egg. You have the yolk and the white and then the shell. Very similar. It's almost like God organized the world in a cool way, and lots of things resemble each other. Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, don't get Steven talking about fractals. I know most of you don't know who Steven is.
Yep. Steven should listen to our podcast. I think he would like it.
He probably would, especially now that I mentioned fractals.
Yep, it'll come up on his feed now.
Yeah. It will.
But yeah, so anyways. He will find it. It is like fractals. Anyways, lots of things resemble each other. So a wheat berry is like an egg. And the endosperm is very starchy and carbohydrates, like pure energy fluff. I shouldn't call it fluff because it is energy. Just like carbs in your diet, they're not just there to make you fat. They do actually have a purpose. They're just usually eat too many of them. So anyways, it's mainly carbohydrates and starch. It's food for the germ when it starts growing into wheat. In the commercial process, all that's left over is the endosperm. So they take out the bran, they take out the germ. So it's just fluff. It's just starch and carbohydrates. So no wonder it affects your body in a really weird way, because it's like you're just eating cornstarch. That wouldn't feel good. And actually you can substitute white flour for cornstarch in recipes. That should tell you something about flour. It's not a whole food anymore. It's this is something else entirely that we've made. And so that is probably the number one issue when it comes to your gut, is you're overloading it with starch and carbs. And that's why people are like, oh, I'm gluten intolerant. It's no, you just are eating way too much of this one macronutrient in a super concentrated form, and you're not eating it with any of the balance of the protein and the fat and the vitamins. And so that leads into the overall theory of why bread has become unhealthy when it should have been a health food. And it used to be people could live off of bread, and you're not supposed to live on bread alone, but by every word that comes from God. But you could actually live off of bread for a little while there, because They would mill their own flour, stone mill it, and then put it in the bread, and it's like this superfood. The wheat berries keep forever, and then, it has all these nutrients packed in there. You don't have to store it any special way. Like, it was amazing. It was a lifeline for people. And then now it's something where people are like, oh, I can't have too much bread, or like, oh, I don't eat bread. It's like, what happened there? Is the question. And basically, when you remove the natural balance that God put in the world, you end up with something that, how do I say this? Kind of lost my train of thought here. Oh yes, okay, that's where it is. I found the train. Okay, yes. So the reason that when you eat a lot of bread, you feel bloated, but you don't feel full, like you don't feel satisfied, is the same reason that happens. Like if you eat something really sugary or whatever, it's a lot of calories, but it's no nutrients. And so then your body has two different cues to tell you you're full. One is your stomach literally is running out of space. And then the other cue is, or I guess in that case there's three. The least good one, the worst one, is your stomach is literally just, it's reaching its maximum capacity. The other one is you have enough energy. So like carbohydrates and fat are all energy. So your body, when it reaches a certain point, it's like, hey, I'm energized. So it'll tell you you're full. And then the third one is it actually has nutrients. And so the problem with things that are really high in carbs, or things that are just really high in calories but not nutrients, is that you could keep eating and eating and eating and never feel full because you're never getting any nutrients. And it's like, that could be such an analogy for life, because when you remove the natural balance of, a gift that God has given us, in this case wheat, but it could be a lot of other things, you're going to end up with something that actually hurts you, that you overconsume, that you continue to consume even though it's hurting you, and it no longer is a gift anymore. So yeah, that could totally be an analogy. But all that to say, I discovered that if you just mill your own wheat, you get all the goodness, and you can make bread that has all the goodness in it. And lots of people who actually thought they were celiac are able to have fresh milled flour, which you'd think wouldn't make any sense, because it's literally the purest gluten ever. It has higher protein content, and that protein is gluten protein. So you'd think it wouldn't work, but it does, because the problem is not the gluten. The problem is the flour and the way that they've processed it and the things that they've added to it. So that's the other benefit, is that when you buy your own wheat berries, you get to choose where they came from, if they're organic or non-GMO, or a lot of people use, what do they call them? Like, oh, it has a name. Ancient grains? Yeah, ancient grains. There's a bunch of different ancient grains that they haven't messed with, and so they're in their true form, and they all have fancy names. I don't get into that, which is funny, because a lot of people who are into the fresh milled flour are also into the ancient grains, but I'm not. I'm also not into sourdough, which I tried it. I blame my house and its weird bacterias.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem
It's
that we
so
have.
sketchy. It's like, why does, like, I tried to make my own sourdough starter,
Yeah.
like fresh from just the bacteria in the air, and it was already sour. As soon as it had any smell, it was a bad smell. And I was like,
yeah.
What does that say about the bacteria in our house?
That just does mean that our house is not very conducive. I mean, we have a dog. At the time, we had a different dog than we currently have, and he was worse than the dog that we have now.
Yeah, this dog's a little cleaner, and he's outside more.
Yes. But
it's just suspicious. That's all it is.
It's just our house has had water damage. I'm not sure how extensive that is.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways,
they've I'm sure that they've fixed it.
I'm sure they've been up there in the attic and fixed it.
They did do some roof work recently, so I'm sure it's fixed. It's just that
it's suspicious.
There are looming bacteria that I'm
weird
not sure
bacteria. So anyways, all that to say, I can't make sourdough. But we can do fresh milled flour. And what I realized was that it unlocks a whole world. So, though it may seem this way, I have not forgotten your question from many moons ago when you asked me. I originally started it in an effort to heal my gut. And at the time, I was single and rolling in the dough, making tons of tips as a barista. So I was able to just buy a flour mill, It was still a big purchase for me, but it wasn't like I could just buy a flour mill, on a whim. And so I did. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did because it kind of went by the wayside for a little bit when I was trying the sourdough thing. When we first got married and honestly, the first year, I'd say. I didn't really do much with my flour mill. And actually, a big part of that was that it was in a cupboard. And this is one of those, random little tips is if you want to do something, just look at it all the time and it'll nag you enough that you'll do it. So it's
that depends on your personality.
Well, yes, and also the thing.
Yes.
But if you just put something visible in your line of sight and it's something you want to do, you actually are invested and you want to do this thing, but you need that reminder and that little poke, and also just the ease of oh, it's right there. I might as well mill some flour instead of... If it's just as easy as pulling it out of the cupboard, you're more likely to do it. So it's if the healthy choice is just as easy as the unhealthy choice, or even better if it's easier. So if you don't have unhealthy food in your house, you'll go for the healthy thing. That's the idea. And so I put it on the counter, and that sparked this whole thing where now I really want to start milling flour. And so then I got back into it, and that's how it resurfaced in my life. And the problem with it in that first year was that I wasn't willing to put in the experimenting, and I wasn't willing to get the different kinds of berries for different foods and adapt recipes and figure out what needs to change and how to make it good, and all that. It's there's a really fun experimenting process that I just didn't have the time or the energy or the focus to do. And so then once I kind of unlocked that and was I am going to commit to this and figure it out, it made it really exciting for me. And so then I was able to start adapting all these different recipes. And at first it was pretty rough. There were some really, really dense loaves of bread and really short little ones that it's oh, this is a whole slice? Thanks.
There were a few that tasted like yeast.
Yes, just yeast, nothing else.
If you've ever had nutritional yeast on your popcorn, it was like that.
You're just eating yeast. Yeah. So there were some funny ones in there, and it's just a part of the part of the experimenting process. I'm to the point now where the sandwich loaf that I made yesterday was good, and it held together and it did all the things, and I'm in that fine tuning phase. And now I sell fresh milled pastries at the farmer's market. They're easier than bread because the bread is just a whole game. But I'm just on a mission because it's they used to do this all the time. I know it's possible.
They used to do it all the time without sunflower lecithin.
Yes. Lecithin or lecithin. I heard somebody say lecithin, and now I'm doubting myself.
It's lecithin.
I feel like it should be lecithin. Anyways.
And then what was the other thing? Gluten?
Vital wheat gluten.
Vital wheat gluten.
So yeah, these additives that it's the reason it bothers me is because I have this thing about, and I'm not strict anymore. I used to be, again, when I was trying to heal my gut and I was really getting into all this stuff, I was a purist on these things where it's okay, it's got to be in its whole form and no processing that you couldn't do yourself, because you would get a lot of healthy food out of that lifestyle. Now it's just I'm not going to be that strict. But the point is, vital wheat gluten, sunflower lecithin, those are not things that you would just find and you could just do on your own. That's something that takes a very long commercial process. And so then doesn't that defeat the purpose? I know it's a totally different ingredient, which is why I'm not strict. I'm not against it. I'm just saying my mission personally is to make authentic, and good bread that's like fully just fresh milled flour and just the ingredients you would normally use in a loaf of bread. I'm trying to make fresh milled flour as approachable as humanly possible, and it's just not. It's just hard, and it takes a lot of knowledge about gluten and water content and just all these things. So, anyways, the reason I kept doing or started doing it again was just because it kind of came back around in my life, and this time I went for it and just actually committed to it, and then got really excited about all the amazing things. Like, it doesn't make you feel bloated, and like, I can give my baby a scone, and I'm not like, oh, this is so unhealthy for her. It's like, actually this, and like our pancakes are so filling, like so protein filled. Like, I have managed to make this 6'2" guy here with a really fast metabolism feel full after just 2 pancakes. It's like, that's a feat right there.
I used to put down so many pancakes.
Because they're fluff. They're literal fluff.
But yeah, just 2 with peanut butter on them.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and some syrup, and I'm tapped out.
Yeah. So, all that to say, it's very good, and at this point, I've gone too far. I've got in the deep end. I can't go back now. I especially can't go back because we have no commercial flour in the house, which is a little annoying when I just need to add a tiny little bit of flour to my sauce that I'm making. You know, it's like I just need a little bit. It's not even worth milling. But I'm committed at this point. And that was my goal, actually, was to get to the point where instead of flour containers in the bakery, in the baking pantry, it's just wheat berries. Like, that was the goal. So we've gotten there now.
Well, and some things that I've heard you talk about with fresh milled flour and just how it's better is that, number one, it is that flour or wheat, when you mill it, actually goes rancid very quickly.
Oh, yes, that is.
And then another thing that you've said is that it's actually cheaper per pound.
Yeah, if you do it right.
If you do it right.
Yeah, so the rancid thing is why you don't like whole wheat flour. So that's why when I'm selling pastries at the farmer's market, I don't say I'm making whole wheat scones. I say I'm making fresh milled flour. You know, I'm making all of this with fresh milled flour because whole wheat from the store, this is the scam of it all. One, it's usually still enriched. Two, they actually do still sift it out. Then they just put some of the bran back. So it's like, okay, so you're going to put some of the hard protein shell in there that makes it hard to bake with. And then, because they leave that in there, the fats in there kind of get out, and they make all of the flour rancid within a couple days. And so by the time you buy it, it's already bad. And that's why it kind of has that weird, like, I don't feel like I should be eating this kind of vibe to it. And everything's just, like, dense and not good. Because fresh milled flour has a really cool wheat flavor to it. Like, it actually, it tastes, like, heartier, you know, and, like, more real, more complex of a flavor. But it's not, like, that weird whole wheat flavor that's, like, I'm not enjoying this, you know. It's like, oh, it's great, but it's healthy, you know. That's one of my missions in life, is to make healthy food good food. And, like, healthy food should be the best food because it's the best for you. So if it's better for you, it should taste better. Because I think that God put that in us. Like, there's a reason that a good steak is like a delicacy. It's because steak is really good for you. So the fact that the modern culture around food has been like, well, if it tastes good, it's probably bad for you. It's like, no, that is not how God made the world. God made the world to be good and to be good, you know? So it's like, butter is good for you. And everybody just knows that instinctively. Like, babies will just eat butter because they know. They haven't been lied to yet. They're just like, hey, this is good stuff.
Because they don't know that the experts say that fat makes you fat.
Yep.
Even though that was a paid study that they found hardly any evidence for. And then another scientist in the same day was saying, no, it's not fat that makes you fat. It's sugar that makes you fat.
But the sugar industry companies
paid for the fat makes you fat article to be published and not the sugar makes you fat, because obviously that would be bad for business.
Yes, naturally. Couldn't have that. So anyways, yeah, it's all marketing, and that's a whole nother topic that I should not even get into. I will not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good food should be good, and it should be the best.
Yeah. And
it's like you should be able to make comfort food that's like filling and satisfying and has nutrients in it.
Absolutely.
And you're like, yes, this is amazing. Yeah. I support this.
Yes.
I approve this message. So yeah.
Yeah.
All that to say, it's good. Just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll publish a cookbook.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my 5 recipes in it with fresh whole flowers.
Yeah.
By the time I'm an old lady.
It wouldn't really be a cookbook. It would be a baking book.
Well, yeah, it would be a baking book.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe when I'm an old grandma. Yeah. I'll have so many recipes at that point that I can make a little book.
Yeah.
With my fresh whole flowers.
Yeah, we can see about that. That'd be cool.
Interesting.
It could be a very good possibility, honestly. I mean,
yeah. Could be fun.
It could work.
Yep. Give it 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like you have to do that.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not as good. I mean, some people have a knack
are
for
talented and gifted in that way.
But for me, it's not like I'm trying to write a cookbook. But after a good probably 30 years of cooking, I'd be like, I have a cookbook.
Yeah,
I should just publish it.
You didn't you didn't go to culinary school.
No.
You don't have it. A decade of experience in food prep. Although you're pretty close.
I have half a decade.
Yeah.
Of professional, working in the food industry.
Yeah. So
actually, technically, if you count the business I started when I was 14 making scones.
Yeah.
Well, then I've been in this for 12 years.
Yeah, but you
pro.
got
not
that
12
recipe
years. I'm not
from
26.
your mom, didn't you?
The scone recipe?
Yeah.
No. I learned it in cooking class. In elementary school.
From your teacher.
Who probably got it off Pinterest. I don't even know where that recipe came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned it in elementary school, but I've changed it so much.
You have changed it.
It's not the same anymore as it was. And I actually, one of my signature methods in the scones was actually a mistake because I didn't know how to read a recipe.
Yep.
And then my mom told me later that she was like, what are you doing with that? And I was like, well, it said to grate it in the butter, so I used a cheese grater. And she laughed. She was like, well, I mean, that works. Actually, that's great. It makes really small little pieces of butter. That makes sense. You're apparently supposed to chop it up into pieces and then push it, smush it. And it's like, that seems like a lot of work. Why would you do that? So anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Did you have any more questions besides bread?
I did. So we can make it quick.
Okay.
Because I think.
Well, you better not ask me about something I want to talk about. Because then it'll be another 30 minutes.
Well.
You can cut things out.
I can.
You can be like, yeah, that was lame.
Yeah. Anyways. I usually don't.
Yeah.
But, one of the other questions that I was going to ask you is your thoughts on managing a home and
just in general.
Yeah, how's your experience been thus far? You're almost 2 years in.
Almost. Yeah.
And what are some good strategies, especially with little ones?
Yes, little one this time. I can't tell you about multiple.
Yeah.
The other one is very contained right now.
But different strategies. I mean, I feel like it's difficult for moms at home by themselves during the day to get things done. I feel like they often feel overwhelmed. How do they take care of this baby and get all their chores done?
Yep.
So, you are doing a good job. You are continuing to do a good job in this area. So, I thought I would ask you, what are your strategies? What have you experienced success in? What's something that you should avoid?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, yes, being the innovator that I am always coming up with systems. And I was just talking to another mom who also has a whiteboard. That is like, she said, it's like my brain. And I was like, yes, have a whiteboard that is your brain.
So number one, have a whiteboard.
Well, mine isn't a whiteboard. It's actually 4 pieces of 8.5 by 11 laminated paper.
Yes.
But it's up on the fridge, and it's got monthly, weekly, and daily plans. And I write it in, and it is actually, I would say it is like my brain, because then I don't have to store that information in my brain. Things like, what am I going to make for dinner that day? What am I going to do, today specifically? What do I do every day? What are events coming up in the next month? All those things. But the new one, because I can't go into everything, I'll say the things that failed for me. Start with that. The methods that failed were only doing chores when the baby's asleep. Because sleep is fickle. We got a very good baby who does sleep. And so technically I could wait for those moments, but especially being pregnant now, when she goes to sleep, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down for a second. Like, I'm just going to take a moment. And that sometimes it is actually just a second. Sometimes I don't even sit down. Sometimes I need an hour-long nap. So it's like, yeah, you can't count on this times when like everything's quiet. And I'm also just planning ahead for the fact that very soon things just won't be quiet ever, because kids eventually don't take a nap. That's not something, and that's the innovator in me, is like, okay, is this sustainable long term? Can I commit to this for the next 5 years, And that has also been a downfall, because sometimes you need to plan for the season you're in. It's like, you can't plan for all the future seasons. You have to just accept this is where you're at right now. So I'm already thinking ahead to when I'm immediately postpartum, and it's like, okay, I need to just be ready to drop all of the amazing, wonderful rhythms that I've created, and just accept that I will probably be doing nothing for at least a week. It's like probably 2, and it's going to be different. It's going to change it. It's going to have to readapt, because then there will be 2 of them. And one will have no schedule. And so you just need to plan for the season you're in, and not for all future possible seasons. They're going to change. And so, so I guess, the things to not do is just wait for all the conditions to be correct and perfect, and to when you can just do it uninterrupted, and this goes for all things that you want to do. Mm-hmm. You can't just wait until the perfect conditions. It's like, well, you'll never do it. And that's been my downfall, is like,
it's like that saying, if you wait till you're ready to have kids, you'll never have kids.
Oh yeah, totally. So it's like, if you wait to do the chores until the kids are asleep, you'll never do the chores. And some people that works for them, but it's like, and also having a quiet time, it's like, I want to enjoy it. So like once, because the baby we have now, who is now a toddler, technically, she turned 1-year-old last week. She is taking just one nap, and then like, we'll sometimes take a little rest some other time in the day. So we're close to that, just one big long nap. And it's great, because it's actually a decent chunk of time, so you can get on a roll, you can get stuff done. But I get to the end of that, and I'm like, I've done so much, I have nothing left to do, and that's a blessing, because it's not always going to be that way. And then when she's a little older and she goes from one nap to no naps, we will be instituting a quiet time that I will take part in, It's like, I'm going to sit down and like journal or read a book, read my Bible. Like, I'm going to enjoy that time if I can. So I'm not going to save all my work for that time, because I want my kids to see me working. Like, I want them to see me productive and busy and doing things. And I want to bring them in on those things and be like, we are a family. We're accomplishing these things for the family. It's not just like, this is something I do when you're sleeping, or like, this is something I do without you. Because I also think that can create some, like, I don't know, it can create that I do all the work around here kind of a feeling. If you actually just are saving all the work for just you when you're by yourself, in the moment that you're really wishing that you could just sit down, it's like if you're bringing yourself to the breaking point at that point. So it's like if work around the house is just a part of life, and it's a part of what we do, in order to keep things running. Yes, you're still doing most of the work, especially when you have a baby. It's like I told her, she wants to play with the dishes, and I was like, we don't let her play with the dishes because sometimes they're dirty, and they're often always breakable. So, but then it was like, well, her dishes aren't, and so I was like, here, you can put this plate away. Or you're like, here's your bowl. You can put this away, and it just made me laugh because I handed it to her and she's like, cool, a toy. And she slaps it on the ground and then puts the bowl on top of the plate and then slaps it again. And it's like, right now, her helping with dishes is not. It's not. And it will in the future be slightly more helpful. Like she'll actually be able to take the plate or the bowl and go put it in its basket. It'll be awesome. But it's like it's going to be a long journey before she is carrying anywhere close to the load that I'm carrying, and that's the point. That's fine. It's like she's not supposed to be running anything at this point, but bringing her into it because I know that like kids do want to feel like they're a part of the team and they want to feel significant, and be a part of what's going on, even if it's dishes. And so if you let them be a part of the dishes, one day they will be helpful. That's
Yep.
that is the vision, the future glory when the kids are helpful,
Yep.
which for me feels very far away.
Well, and if you constantly squash that desire to help,
Yeah.
and that desire to help,
Exactly.
like they'll come up, they'll say, "Oh, what can I help? Can I help?" And you might think, "Oh, but if I let you help, it's going to take twice as long, and I'm
Yep.
going to have to redo half of it."
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, if you don't let them help,
Yeah.
then later on, when they're of the age to help, and they have the capability to help and be helpful, they won't do it.
Yeah.
And I know because I was that kid.
Yep. You were the unhelpful kid.
I was the unhelpful kid that was turned away because all my sisters, who were much older than me, actually were helpful. And so I just got to go play with my toys. And I was like, "Oh, great. Awesome. Cool. Well, I guess you don't need my help."
Yep. Thankfully, you've grown out
of that
because you're very helpful now. And you do the dishes for me. It's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that kids they do want to be helpful. And so, yeah, you have to get over yourself and be like, okay, accept the unhelpful help now because it will become helpful help later. And mainly you're actually just teaching them that they're part of the family and that work can be fun, and it's something we do together and it's good.
Yep.
And that it's not this hard, terrible thing. And I do also think it's a big part. It is also just a big part of it is also your attitude, I should say, as a parent. Because if you don't like doing the dishes and you won't do them, then obviously they're not fun. And so kids aren't going to be like, I want to do that, So that's something that I've been, trying to focus on, is trying to be a good example of working happily and heartily and enjoying it, and so finding things you can enjoy in it. So then I'll just say that would be the thing to focus on, is try to enjoy it and like make it fit into random little places. Set a timer. That's the biggest one, because if there's something you don't want to do, but it'll only take 10 minutes or less, so you set a timer for 10 minutes, and then, hey, look at that, it took you 2.5 minutes. Like the dishes. It's like, oh, it's actually not big and scary. It's actually a very short task.
Yeah.
And then you reach the end of the 10 minutes and you've accomplished 2 other things. Or if it is actually a big task, you're on a roll now and the timer goes off and you're good and you just keep moving. So it's like the timer is actually a big thing, because actually the whole task, the scariness of the task, the bigness of it is usually mental. And if it's actually a big task, you should still start, because otherwise you still won't get it done.
Yeah, and if you get to the end of 10 minutes and you're not done with the task, take a break.
Yeah, totally. Set
you
a
made some
5-minute
progress.
timer.
Yeah,
set
you
another
made some progress.
Timer. Yeah.
Unless you're like close to finishing, don't take a break if you're just close
don't
to
stop.
finishing.
Just
keep the momentum. Yeah. Keep going and be like, oh, I gotta finish this.
Yep.
It's amazing what a deadline will do to your.
Yeah, and just a timer, setting timers for yourself, and
yeah.
So that's one. So yeah, enjoying it, setting a timer, and then the biggest one that I've just instituted last week, very newly, but I've been wanting to do it, is giving every day a designated chore, or chores plural. For me, I've realized it's got to be enough to actually fill the time, because and this is like a focus for the day. So like today was floors, surfaces, and furniture. So it's like that's just what I'm looking for today. So like the windows also needed to be dusted and cleaned on the outside. But it's like, no, I'm going to put a day on that, so that today I'm going to look at the floors, the surfaces, and the furniture. So it's like vacuum everything and pick things up and vacuum the couch and like like cleaning the counters and deep cleaning those things. So it's like giving it a focus. So then tomorrow is like, the toilets, the sinks, and the showers. And like, so now today I'm going to look at those things, and I'm going to focus on those things. And what I've discovered is that you start seeing things in a new way, and you start being like, okay, that needs attention. And so once you get on that cleaning roll, then you can just keep going, and you can accomplish a lot that doesn't, like, none of these tasks actually take that long. It's just that instead of seeing it and being annoyed by it, you see it and you fix it. And then that gives you momentum to then go fix more things. And so then laundry and dishes are the daily things that just always need to happen. Those are the ones that like you can fit into the cracks everywhere. But so those aren't included unless you have enough clothes to only do laundry once a week, but we do not. And our baby certainly could not. So we do laundry every day, and that's not one of the big tasks. The big tasks are, those like vacuuming, sweeping, mopping, and then cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the kitchen, and some of those bigger feeling tasks, even though they're not that big. And you can actually do 2 or 3 of them in a day, and it's totally doable. And I realized there is no reason that I could not do this every week. It's like, because that's the reason I said it, is because I wasn't doing these things every week. Like, I wasn't vacuuming every week, wasn't cleaning the toilets every week, certainly wasn't cleaning the showers every week. And I realized, oh, this doesn't take that long. If I give it a whole day, it's bound to happen at least every other week. But it could totally happen every week. But then that leaves you margin for if you missed a day, or if you just have to write it on the like catch up on this in the weekend, or catch up on this when there's a day that has less tasks on it. So that's been really cool, and so far I feel like that's helped a lot, because it gives me like a specific focus that I don't have to decide in the morning, well, what am I going to clean today? It's like, just, it's on the list, you just do it, So anyways, yes, I see the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are running short on time.
You asked me about it.
Yeah.
You're asking me about interesting things.
Yeah, I know.
And you apparently had 4 or 5 questions.
I did.
And you
I
only
had
asked
more.
2.
I had more.
We'll have to do a part 2 of me rambling.
Totally.
Yep.
Yep. Well, to wrap that up, if so, number 1 question, fresh milled flour is just good. Better for you. You should buy it because it's better for you. It's cheaper than getting the best stuff from the store, and it's better than that stuff.
Not even comparable.
Not even comparable. So just, that's awesome.
And the cheapest place to get it is Azure. If you get it directly from a place, like if you buy your wheat berries from, like, I bought them from Palouse brand, and they were like twice as much. And that's because I'm not sure why that is. But you can do that too, and they are pretty high quality and awesome. But Azure is the cheapest place to get them.
Yep.
And that's what makes it
but
actually
they're not
cheaper.
paying us, so we shouldn't even mention it.
Yes, this is not a paid promotion.
Yes. So then number 2, how do you keep up with house chores? There was 3 things that I think you said is have a whiteboard or a calendar schedule.
Yeah. If that's the way your brain works, I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, set timers for yourself. I'm succincting it for people.
Succincting.
Set timers for yourself.
Summarizing.
Yes. Making it succinct. Set timers for yourself to get small tasks done like laundry, dishes, etc. And then number 3, plan out your week with one big cleaning task a day. That was the main 3 things there.
Yep.
So it was a pleasure to interview you.
Really?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be on the podcast that I'm on.
Yes. It was a pleasure to interview you, though, to ask the questions.
Okay. Well, you should ask the rest of your questions sometime.
Yes.
I'm so curious.
And that is going to be it for this episode because we are way over time.
Just way over time.
Yep. Alrighty, thank you for listening, Chad. Special shout out to Chad for listening. And
you should send this episode to Steven.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Yep.
Yep.